Well, we continue this month, the month of October, with our Centers for Spiritual Living theme, which is prosperity, abundance, and wealth. What's not to like, right? And today's topic is consciously choosing prosperity. Just as we were showing the children how Fluffy, the puppet, got to choose what he wanted that day, whether it was a pear or an apple or a banana. So we get to choose, and that's what this is about. Raymond Charles Barker, in his wonderful book, The Power of Decision, says, the moment you decide to live a richer life, your consciousness will devise the ways and means of your having it. Well, you see, your consciousness and my consciousness is part of the infinite consciousness of the divine mind of God. We are co-creators with this mind. We have only one thing that we get to do in this world. Imagine that. What could it be? Choose. We get to choose. Everything else is worked out beautifully for us. We have a fabulous, infinite, intelligent activity going on within our bodies, within our lives, in every way you can imagine, in the universe. All the planets are doing exactly what they're supposed to do because of this infinite intelligence. And if we let it, it will do everything that is needed within ourselves, because our consciousness is some part of the greater consciousness. We are co-creators with the divine. We are always at choice. And when we're in class or when we're here together and when we're lovingly supporting each other in utilizing the principles of science of mind, you might hear someone very gently and very lovingly remind another person, what are you choosing in this moment? Do you really like that old story about lack and limitation? Or would you like to create a new story, one that is possible, because the infinite mind of God has everything needed for your greater good? How about choosing it? How about accepting it? Or some other very lovely, loving, gentle way that we speak to each other, right? It's, much nicer than saying, although I do say it, you've heard me say it, would you really like to argue for your limitations? We try to be kinder and gentler here, but we do make a point when we need it, right? So are we sometimes choosing, even though we're not aware that we're choosing, to remain in an old pattern of lack, or not enough, or I'm not enough? That's one that we kind of share universally to one degree or another, isn't it? I'm not enough. Well, you are enough. How can you not be enough when you're created out of the one life, which is God's life? How can we not be sufficient when we have the same co-creative power that is used to bring universes into being? We just get to use it in our own individual lives. So are we opting to be swayed by externals? Pay no attention to the stock market. It's not healthy to do that. It's just like if we're on a weight loss program, don't get on the scale every day. Let's not get excited or upset or get our knickers in a knot about something that's going on for a few moments, a few days, a few weeks, or whatever. There's this homeostasis in the world, which means returning, always returning to our natural healthy being, whether it's ourselves, whether it's the economy, it's at work. Let's focus on it. Let's not focus on the neighbors with the stories. So are we deciding to focus on the divine bounty and the greater flow of abundance and freedom? Would you like to? It's a good idea. Let's choose that. We have the power to choose it. Eric Butterworth, in his wonderful book, Spiritual Economics, coined a phrase. He's always coining phrases, and I like that. He uses the word wealthful. Wealthful. Like healthful. And the origin of the word wealth is wellness. Wellness. The flow of abundance, very natural and very normal. Prosperity, the Latin root, really means to go forward hopefully. When we're in a prosperity consciousness, we know that things are working for the greatest good for ourselves and for everyone else in the world. To go forward, hopefully. And affluence, that's one of my favorite words. It means being in the flow. In the flow of life. So we want to turn within and reconnect with the bountiful presence of Spirit. So much in Scripture reminds us of this. In Matthew, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all of these will be added to you. We have our priorities straight when we go to Source, when we go within to Spirit. And in 1 Corinthians it says, and God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work. Abound is a wonderful word too, isn't it? And then in Proverbs, we read, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean unto your own understanding. There's a greater understanding. You and I have access to infinite intelligence, to this vast wisdom in the universe, which will help us choose correctly and direct our attention to those ideas that will bring prosperity in every form we can imagine, to ourselves, to our loved ones, to the world itself. Because infinite abundance is just that. And infinite abundance expresses itself by means of various forms of prosperity in our lives, and we get to choose what that is. In the opening prayer this morning, Georgie was speaking about the abundance of love. We have an opening to whatever we choose to be the instruments for. Preposition at end notwithstanding. And we also read in Psalm 72:16, may there be an abundance of grain in the land, on the tops of the mountains may it wave. May its fruits be like Lebanon, and may people blossom in the cities like the grass of the field. For centuries it has been known by the people who listen to the mysteries of this beautiful universe that there is plenty. There's plenty for all, and it's wonderful to look at the waving of the grain, at the movement in the leaves and the trees. We have this beautiful season upon us now where even the flowers in here are dropping their leaves because they know it's fall. We're in the flow of life when we recognize that, as Rumi says, the universe is not outside of you. Look inside of you. Everything you want, you already are. Now, that's a very important verb. He didn't say everything you want, you already have. Everything you want, you already are. You want healing, you're already health. It is your divine heritage. You want beautiful relationship, you are already love. It is innate within us all, for we were formed out of this one life. God is love, that love is who we are. You want more beautiful things in your life, greater prosperity, however you decide that it is. You are already abundance. Not just abundant, but abundance. Because that's a quality of the divine that resides within each one of us, and let's call upon it. Divine wisdom knows exactly how to manifest our heart's desires. It knows how. It's not our business. We trust the infinite intelligence of this universe. When we make a choice, and we fill that choice with joy and happy, cheerful expectancy, then the law of mind, the infinite law of mind, the law of sowing and reaping, cause and effect, knows exactly how to bring it into being. We don't need to figure it out. We sometimes try to figure things out. That's not our job. We need to stick to what our job is, which is what Choose. That's our job. Choose. And then trust. That's the second part. We need to trust that this infinite intelligence is at work right now, all the time. I love what Dr. Arlene Bump Austin said some time ago. I plant the seed. God grows the tree. God has the hard part. That's not hard to God. It would be really hard to me. You know, Joyce Kilmer wrote a wonderful poem about trees a long time ago, set to music, right? Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Not difficult for God. The perfect law of cause and effect is at work within this universe, and it's within our lives all the time. Our job is to choose, you got it, and then to trust. So the sowing and reaping, it delivers what is given to it. Are you giving the law a lots of worry and concern? Are you using those old stories about not enough or what's going to happen? Is there fear that's driving you? Fear is the cheapest room in the house, says Rumi. I suggest you move to better quarters. What's driving us? What's motivating us? You know, is it fear or is it faith? It's two ends of the same stick, because we're having faith in something negative when we're fearing. Okay, let's choose differently. I'm going to make a different choice. Tagore says, everything comes to us that belongs to us if we create the capacity to receive it. If we create the capacity to receive it, that means to choose, to know that you're worthy of it, to know that there's plenty for everybody, plenty, more than enough. And to know it's all right, more than all right, to accept what is your heart's desire and to live it. Dr. Tom Costa, who founded the Palm Desert Center for Spiritual Living many, many years ago, one of his favorite songs was, you can have as far as you can see. You can be all that you want to be. Life's a gift that God has given you and me. Finish it with me, big finish, girls. You can have as far as you can see. And boys. Isn't that a great song? You can have as far as you can see. We need to see with a bigger vision than we've had before. We need to get out of that limitation, out of that lack, out of the, oh, poor me, not enough. We need to get a greater vision and then make a greater choice. We're here to help each other create greater visions for ourselves, for our spiritual community, for our greater community, and of course for the world itself. Because when we're at choice, we're in our power. When we're not at choice, we can feel powerless. Anybody ever know what that feels like? Like the circumstances are bigger than you? Well, they never are. They're never bigger than God, so they can't be bigger than you. Like the two fellows who met on the street, and one of them said, "Oh, how you doing, Charlie?" He says, "Well, pretty good under the circumstances." He says, "Oh, for heaven's sake. You need to get the circumstances under you." We want to be over and above by creating a greater vision of what's possible for ourselves, for everybody that we love, and for everybody we don't even know yet. There's enough for everybody. You see, when we're just drifting along, not making decisions, we can become at the effect of everything and everyone. We know what that feels like. We dip into that every now and then through our lives. It's a good idea not to do that. We want to transcend the law of averages. Let's not be conditioned by conditions. Let's raise our sights to the unconditional, generous, universal abundance in this universe. Let's choose today, right now, right here. Leave all the old patterns under your seat. There is a cosmic vacuum that comes out after celebration, after everybody's gone. Leave them here. Do you want them anymore? Then will you please leave them under your seats? I promise you they'll be gone when you come back. If you want to bring more in, that's your problem. But don't do it. Leave them here. Let's choose to live from the center of God's substance. Everywhere present, every imaginable good for ourselves, for everyone in the world, every sentient being. Isn't this what we desire with all our hearts? Then let's start choosing it. Will you say with me, I consciously choose prosperity. My decisions bring good into my life. My healthy choices bring good to all. I am a recirculating fountain of affluence. And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson.